I'm going to show you how to do a simple cut on the skin. So the first thing you need to do is clean the skin to make sure we've got no impurities or oil on the skin and no natural oil there, just to make sure that the special effects will stay on the skin and won't slip or move, because sometimes natural oil can do that. Just turn your hand over for me. I'm going to do it on the back of your hand. Okay, so we're going to do the cut we're doing today on the back of the hand. Probably we're going to go for here, so this is if someone's just sliced this part of the hand, so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so I'm going to be using silicone A and B. However, there are other products available, such as Sinuax, which is what we use at Brooklands College on the level 3 theatrical special effects hair and media makeup course. Excuse me, but for the quickness of today, I'm going to be using silicone A and B. So what you need to do for this is you get your A and you decant that onto a silver plated palette. So we need equal amounts of both. So A, and then you make sure the spatula is completely clean, and then you get your B. You can't cross-contaminate these products, otherwise it just doesn't work. The reason why I'm using A and B today is because I really like the effect of it. It has a much more natural kind of TV and film ready appearance compared to Sinuax. And then what you're going to do is you're going to mix those equal parts together to create your product that you're going to use. Okay, and once it's been mixed, we're going to place it onto the skin. Okay, so it's really important that we close those products to make sure that it doesn't dry up. Okay, so I've got my product on my spatula, and then I'm just going to mould the product into the skin. And it's self-adhering as well, it's self-setting, it's really quick and really easy. Again, if we're on set, it's a really quick and easy way to create a cut. Right, and then what I'm doing now is I'm just going over where I've applied the product, and I'm just kind of smoothing the edges out as if the cut has been applied with a jagged knife. So when we create a special effects, you need to think about not just creating a cut, but how has that cut happened? How has that bruise happened? How has that gunshot wound happened? What's happened to that character? What's happened to that person? That's why it's really important that you break down a script as well as a makeup artist. Going on to sets, knowing what you're doing and not just turning up. Just blending out the edges of the product, making sure it's nice and clean. even though we've done a jagged cut, the surrounding area needs to be the normal surface of the hand, so you don't want any excess product because then it's just going to look quite messy. So I'm just taking away any excess from the skin. Okay, and as you can see, the product is really starting to harden now. So what we're going to do is go through the centre of the cut as if the cut's happened. I'm just sliding my edge of my spatula through there to create that appearance of the jagged knife. Okay, and then to do that we're just going to go more of the centre parts. And just really kind of open up parts of that wound. To make it look as realistic as possible. Okay, and then it's just a case of that drying. So whilst that's drying, I'm just going to go around the edges and clean it up with IPA, just to make sure there's no more product on the skin. That's just drying, and once it has finished drying, then we're going to colour the skin and the cut. Okay, it's still drying. Okay, so if you just want to turn your hand to face, there we go. So we've got quite a jagged, nasty cut there that would bleed quite a lot as well. So while that's waiting to dry, I'm just going to get my colours ready for colouring the skin and the cut itself. Okay, so when we have a look at my model's skin, we've got quite a lot of pigmentation in there. So we've got some red, we've got a little bit of blue, green, we've got a couple of veins that are kind of going into this cut. So we want to imitate that on the skin as well. To make it look as realistic as possible. So I'm just going to grab some deep red, like burgundy red, and pop it onto my palette. And we want some blue to imitate the veins as well. And these are grease paints that we're using. so we're all dry. Try to avoid touching it as much as possible, because you want minimal contact, just so that it doesn't get any natural oils on there. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my blue originally with a kind of fluffy brush, and I'm just going to go over near the cut where the impact has happened, and try to imitate some of this kind of blotchy red, just so it's a continuation. And then we're just going to go along the skin line, and we're just going to add some pigmentation in there to reflect the skin itself. Okay, so you're just gently kind of going over it, you don't want to put too much pressure on. And then I'm going to go in with my Burns gel. So this is a kind of clotted blood effect that we're going to be using just to go in the centre of this cut, just so it looks as realistic as possible. Be careful with this because it can go everywhere. So I'm just using my spatula to decant some of that product. Actually, firstly I'm just going to colour the skin underneath with a smaller brush, just to add a bit of a deeper effect, because this has been done with a jagged knife. It will have gone a bit deeper than a surface cut. Okay, so you can just kind of get that depth from the colour being added. Turn your hand fully so it's like so, yeah. Okay. And then now we're going to go in with our burn gel or our clotted blood, just to create a deeper effect. So don't go mad with this, you just want it to be in the surface of it. So I've just gone in where the skin is completely separated. And then what we're going to do now is just go in with our, this is like the final stage. We're going to go in with our theatrical blood. This is mine, obviously it's had a lot of hammer, so I have a lot of blood over mine. It does go everywhere, so I'm just going to place a little bit on my palette. We don't want too much because we're not going to go too crazy today. But yeah, it's always best to kind of keep it in a sandwich bag because it can go everywhere. Okay, and then we can use the same thin brush that we used for applying our wound filler to apply the blood, and then I've also got a stipple sponge just to kind of show you how to move it around if you wanted to create more of like a graze effect around the cut as well. So I'm just going to add some blood in now. What? Tingle?
Tickle.
Tickle, yeah. Because it's such intricate work. So just keep your hands still for me. Okay, and then to make the cut seem more realistic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of kitchen roll or a cotton pad. Kitchen roll would be more realistic, and I'm just going to place it underneath where the cut is, and then I'm going to kind of drip blood down the hand as if you've tried to kind of patch it up or stop the bleeding. And that way, if you're just doing it for a photo shoot or a still or a kind of small part of a TV programme, you can make it look like it's just happened, and that's the impact of it. There we go. So just I'm checking that on camera just to make sure that it's running all the way down. So all the way, so that where you can see it, and then make sure it lines up. That's it. Just where it was absolutely fine. So just there. Okay. Just relax. Relax there. Good. Okay. I'm just gonna go through and just stipple a little bit, just to show you that effect. I could do that towards the edge. Just a bit of a stippling effect in, just to show that effect on the skin. This is really quick for creating like grazes, really easily and quickly. Skin irritation, it's really good for illness. Okay, so that is how to create a cut. So if you just want to show your hand, there we go, and then just show your wrist part so they can see the grazing. Okay. That is how you do a cut.